It was a calm afternoon in Philadelphia, the perfect time to explore the city. Will Smith had decided to take a break from the hustle and bustle of the city. He walked slowly towards a park, seeking some peace and quiet. While the world around him buzzed with activity, he craved the tranquility that nature offered. He wanted to clear his mind and regain his energy. As he walked, however, something caught his attention. A young boy was sitting alone on one of the park benches. The boy had his head down, shoulders slumped, and his clothes looked worn and dirty. Will paused. Something inside him urged him to approach. Will's instincts told him to go over and check on him. Will walked over to the bench, moving slowly so as not to startle the boy. The boy, still with his head down, hadn't noticed him. Will gently approached and said, "Hey there." The boy looked up, his eyes locking onto Will's face in surprise. You're Will Smith?" he asked, his voice full of disbelief. Will smiled and said, "Yeah, that's me, but I'm just a regular guy. Who are you?" The boy hesitated for a moment before quietly responding, "My name's Jason." Will studied him carefully and asked, "Jason, you look like you're going through something. What's going on?" Jason fell silent for a moment before finally speaking. "Things aren't going well at school. I didn't make the basketball team. My friends don't really talk to me anymore. My parents and I fight all the time. Everything just seems to be falling apart," he said. Will listened intently, then took a deep breath. "Jason," he said, "these tough times don't define you. They're just temporary. You have to believe that things can get better." Jason raised his head and looked at Will, still unsure. "But how? Where do I even start?" he asked. Will smiled softly and said, "Starting isn't about making huge leaps. It's about taking small steps every day. Each small step gets you closer to where you want to be. And as long as you don't lose hope, things will get better." Jason tried to process Will's words, but he still had a lot of doubts. "But how's it going to happen? Where do I even begin?" he asked. Will locked eyes with him. Starting is not about making huge leaps. It's about taking small, steady steps every day. Every little step you take will get you closer to where you want to be. And as long as you don't lose hope, things will improve. Jason listened carefully, his mind beginning to shift. For the first time in a while, he felt a flicker of hope. "I think I could really make a change," he said quietly, a small smile forming on his lips. Jason began to warm up to the idea of change. "Maybe I really can change things," he thought to himself. Will placed a hand on Jason's shoulder and said, "Come on, let's go do something. Today's a good day for a fresh start." Jason hesitated at first, but seeing the trust in Will's eyes, he decided to follow. Together, they walked through the streets of Philadelphia. Will shared stories of his own struggles, how he stayed strong through tough times, and how change always begins with the first step. As they walked, Jason started to feel a little more confident. Every step he took felt like he was slowly unlocking a new part of himself. After a while, Will and Jason found themselves heading toward a nearby diner. Will turned to Jason and said, "Let's sit down, grab a bite, and talk about what's next for you." The diner was cozy, filled with warm lights and a friendly atmosphere. The waitstaff greeted them with smiles, and Will led Jason to a booth. Jason looked around and said, "This place is nice. I didn't even notice it before." Will smiled and replied, "Life's like that. Sometimes it's about noticing the little things. Today might be the day things start turning around for you." Jason nodded, feeling a sense of calm he hadn't experienced in a while. As they ate, Will shared more advice, telling Jason that the key to success was never giving up. "You'll face challenges, but you have to keep pushing forward," Will said. "And as long as you keep believing, everything will work out." While eating, Will continued to offer Jason words of encouragement. Life is full of challenges, but those challenges don't break you, they build you. Even when it feels like everyone's abandoned you, you can always find your way. The key is to never give up, Will said. Jason listened closely, his heart slowly opening to the possibility of change. Maybe I really can do this, I just need to believe in myself, Jason said. Will smiled and nodded. Absolutely. Sometimes, all we need is for someone to believe in us. And I believe in you, Jason. I know you're going to make it, he said. Jason sat up straighter, a new determination shining in his eyes. The next morning, Jason woke up with a renewed sense of purpose. He decided to focus on school again, work harder to get back into the basketball team, and be more understanding with his parents. He was ready to leave the darkness of his past behind and step into the light of a brighter future. As Will got ready to leave, he turned to Jason one last time and smiled. I believe in you, Jason. This is your turning point. The road ahead is all yours, he said. Jason stood tall, his heart full of newfound strength. Thank you for everything, Will. I'm going to make sure I don't waste this chance, he said with confidence. Will smiled and nodded before walking out of the diner and back into the city, knowing that sometimes all it takes is a single moment to change a life.